Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, welcome back to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Last time we were trying to take out these ravens, but both Zahark and Nephany missed, so looks like we have a bit of a tougher battle on our hands, but no big deal, nothing we can't handle. I'm gonna try and take this guy out with Zahark. I hope he doesn't miss again. Although I think he missed with like an 80% chance. Oh, 80, yeah, exactly 80. So I'm surprised he actually missed that. Anyways, very quickly I'll discuss what ravens are weak against. Ravens and basically any flyers in the game are weak against arrows and wind magic. So arrows and wind magic. Both of those very effective against flying types. And yes, this even goes for Pegasus Knights as well. Thanks to the Pasta King for telling me this. Pasta King and someone else. I forgot who else told me. It was in one of the early videos. I think it was in the video where I got Marsha. Someone said in the comments how that wind magic was also effective. I was under the impression that it wasn't, because Pegasus Knights generally have high resistance anyways. So even if they do get hit by wind magic, it shouldn't do too much damage, but apparently I was a little incorrect on that, but not major, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, flying types also weak against wind magic. And that's basically it. See, just kind of moving some soldiers around so I can heal. And then just get my weaker units out of range. It's very important that you always keep the range. You know how whenever you click an enemy unit, you get to see their attack range. It's important in this level that you leave that on, or basically any level where you have laguz units, or maybe just a lot of enemy units. You want to leave that on just so you can see all the enemies and how far they can reach you, because if you have a weaker unit in range and you don't know it, there's a good chance they could get killed. I mean, you never know when they can land a critical hit on you, so it's very important that you try to be careful whenever you do chapters with large amount of units. And look, that Wyvern girl from the last chapter has joined up with us. I wonder what she's doing here. And she's a green unit, not a red unit. I guess she hates laguz more than we do. Well, we don't hate laguz, we're just fighting laguz. And I meant to say that maybe she hates laguz more than she hates us. That's what I meant to say. Let's see, trying to figure out how to go about doing this. I guess I'll go ahead and use Soren right here. Yeah, that'll be good. Take out all but 2 health. Let's see, who should I attack with? I'll go ahead and weaken this guy. Hopefully he doesn't critical. I've noticed that Oscar actually has a pretty high critical rate, considering he's a cavalier. I also find it strange that Rise can shove Zahark. Zahark must be very tiny, even though he looks bigger than Mia. Another laguz down. I think right here I get a little confused about how to go about attacking this next Raven, because I have 3 people who could potentially attack him: Ike, Nephany, and Kieran. And I want to make it so Nephany gets the kill. Unfortunately, I don't think that's possible now, because Kieran's attack power is too high, even with an iron axe and a hand axe. See, Nephany can only do 5 damage at the most. Or no, 6 damage. Still not enough. So I think eventually I just decided to go ahead and use the Slim Lance, just so I could have a higher chance of getting a critical hit, but it didn't really work. Oh well, no big deal. So yeah, the majority of this chapter is basic lure and then attack techniques. I think in episode... What episode was it? It was episode 31. we decided some of the names on how to call that technique. Let's see. Say Youngie said, how about lure kill? And then my favorite one, Hyrule Girl 9, said we should call it sword fishing, which doesn't really even make sense, but it's a cool name regardless. Sword fishing. I kind of like that. Although I guess you are fishing for swords, even though not all of the enemies have swords. We'll just call it a lure tactic. A lure tactic. That'll work. So we're just going to move units around a little bit. I'm going to try to form a little wall right here. Although, eventually I'm going to decide to not use that wall after all and then move back because there are reinforcements in this level. There are several reinforcement laguz that come from mostly the south. I think a few of them come from the east as well. But there are reinforcements, so be careful. And also, the reinforcements appear right before it's their actual turn, so they get to pretty much move as soon as it's their turn. So that's something else you want to be aware of. And Jill still cannot make it to Ike. In order to recruit Jill, she has to talk to Ike. I think you can talk to her as well, but I mean, she's probably going to reach Ike before you actually reach her, since he's going to be off the boat for the majority of the battle. See, there's the laguz, there's one. See, there are a lot of reinforcements here. And unfortunately, this laguz decided to go after Jill. Jill did some damage, but she also took some damage. Jill's actually pretty slow at this point, but really, I think she's one of the faster units in the game, because flying units tend to be faster, but Pegasus Knights more so than Wyvern Knights. And yes, Jill will join us, despite her being on the enemy side. So, if she does join us, and she decides to stay with us, we're going to have to keep an eye on her. We can't let her betray us, we can't let her do anything. And she can't possibly be the worm that King Ashnard talked about in the ending of the last chapter, because, well, that wouldn't make sense, because she wasn't in our group by that time, so yeah, we still have to figure out who that worm could be. Well, Rolf couldn't kill that bird, but thankfully we have Jill. But I don't have faith in that steel lance, so let's give her the javelin and the slim lance I gave to Volk earlier. 85 is better than 70 by far. Yeah, the Wyvern cutscenes are kind of long, but whatever. As for Soth, you probably will not see his battle animation ever, because, well, I really have no plans to use Soth. But just think of his battle animation like Volk's. It's kind of like Volk's to begin with. Then I forgot about this Raven over here. But thankfully I think I can work with this. I think if I put Ike right here, both of the healers will be safe. Then, let's see, we gotta move Kieran. Well, we gotta move Soren out of range too. I think I have to move... No, Rolf is fine where he is, actually. And yes, on the 6th turn, or the 5th turn, the end of the 5th turn, the boss actually moves as well, so you want to be careful of the boss, in addition to the rest of the ravens that appear. The boss is a bit more difficult, because, well, he's capable of doing more damage, first of all. But thankfully, if you keep Rolf and Soren around, you can weaken him significantly without really worrying about dying or anything. Okay, that one's going to go after Ike. I'm surprised Ike couldn't double that Raven. Let's see, how am I going to deal with this Raven? I'm trying to think. Oh wait, that was the end of the first video, the first recording. That's why I was waiting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and attack with Ike. And then I think I'm probably gonna use Jill. Because hey, Jill's a cool character. I actually like Jill for the most part. I think Jill is actually one of my favorite units in the game. In fact, in both Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, I actually think the Wyvern class is actually my favorite class in the game. Just because those classes have some of the best stats in the game, in my opinion. But I'm going to need to close the video here. I want to end on this one last fight. And let's end with a Jill critical! Good job, Jill. Okay, I got to sign off. See you in the next video, which will be uploaded shortly. Later, guys.